Hey everyone, this is Kim with Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the final part, or part 3, of my depth year 6-month check-in. And I'm like, yay, because it's like, oh my goodness, I'm putting all my business out on Front Street. No, it's great. This has been good. It's been a wonderful experience. I've been doing this experiment, not experience. It's been wonderful. So I wanted to just share with you some of my tips and takeaways that I have so far since doing my depth year. And I will link in the description box below some of the videos that I have done about my depth year this year, so you can catch up on that. And yeah, so definitely check them out, because then all of this will make sense. I don't want to bore all the folks who've kind of been following along, but basically with my depth year, just to kind of quickly summarize, is that I made a promise to myself that I would refrain from buying new decks, new books, new crystals, new accessories, new accessories that I don't have. Like, I'm not buying new earrings. I got a ton of earrings, but I did get a new ring. But it was to deepen my connection with the things and the relationships that I have with people. And so that is what my depth year is about. My depth year has some different components here. So it has 6 months. The first 6 months is... I'm turning my computer off. The first 6 months is low buy. The next 6 months, from June to December, is no buy, no purchases. And then the following 6 months after that, from January to June of 2021, it will be low buy. So that's what I'm up to. And I wanted to just kind of give you guys some tips and takeaways, some thoughts. Check out my analysis where I show my little spending habits. You can kind of see, like, whoa, March, around the time that I would get my bonus, I would go crazy. But like December, when I'm super busy with readings or trying to wrap up some stuff for the channel, or I'm just busy with Christmas because I got kids and, you know, family to buy gifts for, I get like 4 or 5 decks for myself in a month. But oh my goodness, March, when I get my bonus, when I was getting my bonuses back in my old job, like 11, 12 decks. So there you go. In a month. All right, so let's go through some tips and takeaways. So I put here overall what I would grade myself so far for this depth year. The grade I would give myself is an A- or a B+. I still have a weak spot for decks and books, but I've been great about clothes and crystals, is what I wrote here. And when I realized I have a low buy, and that I realized, I'm all reading, I realized that my journey includes a low buy. I needed a low buy situation to ease me into the no buy situation. So, and that's okay. You know, you meet yourself where you're at. So yeah, and let's see what else. What has helped me the most in my sustaining this depth year? So far, what has helped me? I put accountability to myself and others. That's been super helpful, doing these little check-ins. I don't want to look too crazy. I'm human though. And I'm human, I'm fallible. I have moods, I have wants, desires, challenges, highs, lows, stresses, just like everybody. So I also cut myself some slack. I think I put that as one of the things too. But I just want to put that there. It's, yes, first and foremost, accountability to myself and others. You saw that with the spreadsheet. You see that with my journal. You see that with the YouTube videos I've been putting out. So there's definitely me trying to be accountable And that seems to be helping me. That doesn't always help me, though. Sometimes I've been in the past, when it was time to be accountable, I'm like, oh, screw you're accountable. I'm just kidding. Not really. But you know what I'm saying. Journaling. Journaling has been super helpful. That's been actually really helpful. I love journaling about this experience. I love having specific journals for specific things that I'm going through in life. It makes it much more likely I'll actually continue to write in it. So this has been helpful. So this is me like halfway in through this. My son, my oldest, gave me this journal. So I was like, this is the perfect thing to track it. Because he's been rooting me on too with this. What else? Tracking my wishlist dollars has been super helpful. Let me tell you, I don't think we really talked about the wishlist total in my last part 2 of the video. Let me talk about that. That total, guys, for 24 decks, $941.77, and that includes shipping, because I made sure to break down the price, the shipping costs, and then the total for the wish list. So I know the full investment. That's super important. Don't skip out on the shipping part, because that could be, you know, I don't include the shipping on the tarot and oracle tabs of my spreadsheets, because we're really looking at just the value of the deck at that point. But here, this is before I'm making the purchase. I do need to know about the shipping, just to give you an idea of how much of a difference it makes. $844.68 is the total for the decks that I want. But when you add in the shipping for those decks, it's a total. It raises the price to $941.77. It's quite a bit, right? And let me be frank. Back last year, like let's say I didn't do a depth year, mostly all those decks would be in my collection, if not all. Yeah, if not all. Definitely. I would not have had a wish list this robust. It would be like 1 or 2. And there's 24 on there because of my depth year, to the tune of $941.77. When it looks like year over year, let me go to my year over year total. For example, 2019, I spent $1,439.82 on decks. So yeah, I easily would have spent that. The whole wish list would have been on there easily. So definitely tracking my wish list dollars has been super helpful, and encouraging me and pushing me to stay the course, stay the course. Because those decks, if they're meant for me when when my whole depth year is over, then that makes it even more special. I'll get it and it'll be all good. All right. Another thing that helped me is playing with my current decks. The current decks that I have in my collection, I have a total of 168 decks in my collection. So that's plenty. And what I've been doing, I don't have it down here, I have been tracking the decks that I've been playing with and called to look through and look at. I track those decks in my planner. I keep a little list. I just write the deck's name and the number just in sequential order. On average, I touch about 25 to 35 of my decks each month on a given. Oftentimes those decks are incorporated in my professional readings that I do, but oftentimes those are some decks those are for some of my altar work that I do, where I put cards on my altar, where I do my weekly readings for myself, or I just want to look at the cards and just be inspired by the beautiful artwork. So it could be just that. So playing with my current decks has been huge in helping me with my depth year. Avoiding Facebook groups. So for a while, I'm good now, but for a while I had to kind of like back off and not really engage in the Facebook groups, especially the ones that are all about tarot collecting or deck collecting, because it just wasn't really conducive. You know, it's like alcoholic, trying to hang out with their friends at the bar after they've just, did a stint at the rehab. It's like, girl, you're not supposed to be up in here. So it's that. But after a while, you're like, I think I can make it. I think I can do this. Whether you can or can't remains to be seen. And please, guys, I know you're like, hey, I'm a recovering. I know, I get it. I got nothing but love from my folks who are struggling with that. So please, I don't mean to offend with that analogy, but maybe I should just say drug addict because, I don't know. So anyways, COVID-19 helped with my depth year immensely. Okay, what I mean by that, and please, again, guys, don't take offense because I'm sad too. I actually have now, they say, oh, it's not real because you don't know anyone. I actually know people that have passed away, and I'm like super sad about that. But what I'll say is this, the ripple effects of the shipment's not really going out for decks. Me just being hella distracted with everything that's going on in the world. That alone. And I think I did have a bout of COVID-19, to be perfectly honest. I talked about that a few months back where I was having weird symptoms. And so I had a lot going on with COVID-19. Plus I work, my public sector job is dealing with the public, social services. So I was all kinds of distracted with that. So that was a huge help, So if all else fails when you're doing your depth year, maybe you'll have some cataclysmic event that helps. I don't know. The analysis of my collecting habits, which I talked about before, I don't want it to be ad nauseum here, but I talk about it a lot. It's huge. It's also how I hold myself accountable when I am getting back on my fitness journey. I'm just that person. When I was breastfeeding, I know, TMI, my daughter, my sons had a horrible time trying to breastfeed. Just horrible. I gave up quickly. With my daughter, I found that me tracking and kind of just okay, let me track the different times. Let me track my moods and my foods and all that stuff. It really helped me. And we had a beautiful mother-daughter breastfeeding experience. TMI, but I'm just that kind of person. I found out I need to be able to see some progress, see some numbers, even if I don't like what I see. Even when I was losing a lot of weight, and I'm talking about when I was overweight. I was actually overweight and per my doctors that I need to lose weight. I needed to know the hardcore numbers so I know where I'm at and where I need to go. So that's all I'm going to say about that. TMI, I know, but you get it. All right, so another thing, huge, I'd be lying if it wasn't, people giving me decks. They were gifting me decks. People sending me decks, bless you. When I was at the Northwest Tarot Symposium, people were giving me decks. The symposium themselves, Llewellyn was there. They gave me a deck. I mean, I was lucky this year with gifting of decks. So that helped. That helped immensely. And also, did I put that here? Pre-order, yep, that was next. Pre-orders from last year coming in. Very much helped. That was huge as well, because that kind of helped me to not feel oh gosh, I have nothing and this makes me sad, because there would still be decks kind of trickling in that I had pre-ordered from, in 2019. So that was super helpful. That helped. And let's see. Oh, the library. Huge resource for books. If you ever want to have a book that a new book, new to the scene, new to the publishing world, new to us, They will order the book. Your library will order it for you. Even if it's brand new and you're like, they don't have it and nobody's going to have it. No, they will. You just have to be patient. It'll come in. But the library is a huge resource. Now they have ebooks, audiobooks, all different ways of being able to access books for free. So, huge resource, huge, helpful for tarot resources for me and my community. I'm lucky that my library carries such things, you know. So, and if they didn't, they're willing to order it. So there's that. And challenges. Let's talk about challenges. Number 1, fighting fear of missing out. And I did have evidence of decks. I did have the experience, not evidence, experience of decks selling out. And I just had to just deal with it. And I'm here to tell you, it's not the end of the world. I just was like, I know if it's a really awesome deck, that the deck creator will probably make another edition right when I'm ready to get my deck. So I'm just not going to worry about it. Number 2, knowing when it is okay to get a deck or book. Like my Power of Surrender cards. I was like really beating myself up, and then I'm looking at the deck. I'm like, I can't photograph this deck. It's got water damage. Like, this is not going to work. And several of the cards had water damage. All of the cards, the gilding was weird and warped and off, and making the cards like, it just, because it's kind of a cardboard stock. I wish I had it here. So yeah, sometimes you just got to know it's okay to replace the deck. Or sometimes you just got to know it's okay to have a deck. This is why I think it's super important to have terms and conditions before you start your depth year. Give yourself a few outs so that way you're not going completely crazy. Build the few outs in. And if you need just a low buy, do just a low buy, guys. Don't do a no buy. Start with a low buy, meaning you just buy replacements, or you just buy 1 or 2 here or there, or you set up a criteria like I did for myself. You could do that. Or you could do a no buy of 2 months, low buy of 3. You could 3 months, you could vary it. You could say, I'm only going to do a death year for 6 months or a quarter. It doesn't have to be a year. It doesn't have to be a no buy. It can be whatever you want to make the experience. All right, so number 3, missing the hunt for the perfect deck. I love the hunt. I love the hunt when you're vintage shopping, you know, when you're like combing through, looking for that perfect, like, you don't know what you're looking for. You just know when you find it, you found it. That's me in decks too. That's me with vintage shopping when I was a teenager living in Berkeley in the Bay Area. No, I didn't live in Berkeley. I lived in Oakland, but I would always, every day after school in high school in the 90s, head on over on the bus, go to Berkeley or get on the BART train to San Francisco and go vintage shopping. That was me and my girlfriend's life. We save up our little lunch money, and that's what we were doing. So decks are no exception. I love combing through, finding the perfect deck, scoring the perfect deck. But can't do that much when you're on a depth year, right? So that was a challenge, because I like in the middle of the night finding that perfect deck, being in the Facebook group and somebody mentioning some amazing deck, and you go check it out and you're like, I'm going to back this. I'm totally going to back this. This is perfect. This is everything I wanted. It's everything I hoped and dreamed of. Can't do that. Number 4, impatience with pre-orders. Y'all have probably seen me act all kinds of ugly with my impatience, but bear with me, folks. Bear with me. And now I have 2, according to my pre-order tab on my spreadsheet, my book of spreadsheets. So really, I can chill. I have tons of decks. Just chill out. But I get impatient, and I'm warning you, that is going to kick into high gear when you do a depth year. You're like, what the hell? Why are you taking 2 months when you promised that this was going to be done several months ago? That's what I'm talking about. All right, so I put here, what's next? What's next? I will continue on my deaf year, and it may extend into 2021 with a small window where I can get some wish list items. And I like the idea of an 18-month deaf year. We shall see how I'm doing in 12 months. So yeah, we'll see how I'm doing. I say we'll see how we're doing, but I've already made the decision. I'm extending it for until June of 2021. I've already made that decision. I've made peace with that decision, but I am going to give myself a window of time to get a couple of wish list items at the beginning of 2021 as I go into that leg. So let me know what decks you recommend that I should check out. You'd put on that old wish list. I'm curious to see what you think. And let me know your thoughts about my whole process. This wraps up my little series of my depth year check-in. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there's some takeaways that you get from it, helping those who are on their journey. You don't have to be nutso like me. I'm just kind of a geek when it comes to these kind of things. So, yeah, it's a fun experiment. I like it. It's making it enjoyable. Otherwise, I'd be really sad. But you guys have amazing decks. I get to watch YouTube and vicariously live through other YouTubers and their unboxing. So that's amazing. I didn't mention that. That is in my journal. I forgot to kind of gloss over that, but that is huge. That is helpful. I was actually able to watch YouTube more so than I was able to go into the Facebook groups, because I'm so trigger happy when it comes to like being in the tarot groups and seeing people with their decks and stuff. And Instagram too. Like, I'm like, oh, I see that. I'm like, oh, I gotta have it. But YouTube, for some reason, when I see people kind of playing with the cards and using it, I feel like I'm like right there with them, and I just watch their videos over and over again, helping their views. Like, just like watching them like work with the deck, and I'm like, okay, I'm satiated for now. I'll come back to it later. Maybe I'll put you on the wish list. Maybe I might get you. So YouTube has actually been super helpful with my depth year, believe it or not. Believe it or not. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks so much for watching, and sending you all so much love, so many blessings. Please take good care of yourselves. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below, because I love to hear from all of you. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.